today class is in session. Welcome to my Starting a Beauty Business for Dummies 101 class. Today I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know if you are planning on starting a new beauty brand. Buckle up and let's dive in because class starts now. Hello, I'm Lady Burd, third generation owner of Lady Burd Cosmetics. Welcome back to our YouTube channel where we teach you the complexities of the private label, contract manufacturing, and custom formulation space, all through the lens of the beauty industry. I want to start by defining a few keywords and acronyms that you're definitely going to hear if you are getting into this space or if you're starting your own beauty brand. You're going to hear me say a lot of these throughout the video, and you're also going to hear them throughout your entrepreneurial journey. Okay, first up, a CM. A CM is a contract manufacturer. A contract manufacturer is basically what we are here at Lady Burd. They're someone that you go to manufacture the products for you. So obviously if you're starting a new beauty brand, you are not buying a factory, you are not buying equipment, you are not hiring chemists. You're gonna come to someone like us or to a different factory and we're gonna do all of that for you. A CM is the one who's actually manufacturing, producing, filling, handling all that stuff. They're the ones actually making your beauty products. You might also hear OEM or ODM. This stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer or Original Design Manufacturer. But for all intents and purposes, we could get really into it, but that is also your factory or your manufacturer that you're working with, the person who's manufacturing your products for you. Okay, another big one you might hear, PL. PL stands for private label. So what private label is, something that we also do. We do contract manufacturing and PL. Private label is when you go to a manufacturer and they already have items in their stock line that they could just put your label on. So this is when you're not custom formulating, you're not creating something from scratch. We're taking existing formulas, we will put your label on it, and then you can sell that as your own brand. Thing to note about private label is it usually is the most cost-effective route, and the MOQs are much lower. So a lot of times people who are just starting out like to go the private label route. Okay, finally, and perhaps the most important acronym that you're going to need to learn is MOQ. MOQ stands for minimum order quantity. Perhaps, obviously, this is the minimum amount that you need to order. So a lot of manufacturers will have different MOQs, and you have to talk to each one of them and see what their MOQ is. Sometimes it's $1 spend, sometimes it's a units quantity. So for some manufacturers, you may have to buy 10,000 units of something. Other manufacturers, it may be 5,000. Sometimes it's a minimum spend. So for example, for our private label line, our minimum spend is $150. So each one of your orders has to be at least $150. Sometimes it's in kilos or kilograms, which is the units that we manufacture in. That's the size of the kettles. Sometimes if you're doing custom formulation with us, you might have a kilo minimum, which is dependent upon the type of product that you're doing. It could be 10 kilos, it could be 90 kilos, it could be 150 kilos. It really depends. But just know that whatever this MOQ is with the manufacturer that you're working with, they will not accept an order that is under this amount, whether it be units or dollar spend. Now that you know the basics, we can get to step one. So step one is obviously to have an idea. Step one is to have that dream or that vision or that goal. And I would say make sure that this is super, super niche and you really can get into the nitty gritty of what your vision is, all the way down to your dream customer, where your dream customer already shops, what your dream customer looks like, how old your dream customer is, what their buying habits are, what type of person your dream customer is, and make sure that you really niche down and figure out what this is and what you want this to be. The beauty industry is a very saturated space. Not to say that you can't offer something that other people don't offer, but you have to think about this from the marketing lens and make sure that even if you're offering something that's already on the market, that you're doing it in a way that's going to differentiate you from everybody else. Make sure that whatever your product is or whatever you're deciding to sell, that you have a unique selling proposition. And the beauty industry is a big place, so you want to be sure to stand out. Once you have your big idea, you are going to want to get a tax ID or an EIN. You could do this really simply. All you have to do is just Google how to do it. You also can use an agency to do it for you, but it's going to cost you a little bit more money. This is really important. So once you get your tax ID or your EIN, keep this handy. Do not lose it. You're going to need it to open bank accounts, and you're going to need it for most B2B transactions. So for example, here at Lady Burd, you need a EIN or a tax ID in order to do business with us. You cannot open an account here without having a tax ID or an EIN. This is because with B2B, you don't have to pay taxes because it's a B2B purchase. So make sure that you have that handy. You are going to need it. Around this time, I would advise you to also start making a budget. Definitely have your budget in mind before you start talking to manufacturers. You need to know exactly how much money you have to spend, whether that means you're bootstrapping your own company or if you're looking for investors. It's time to start thinking about these things. It's time to think how much money you're trying to fundraise if you are trying to raise capital. And it's time to think about how many units you're going to want to start when you make your first PO or your first purchase order. Now, once your vision is clear and you have your budget and you have your tax ID all settled and you know exactly what you're looking for, it is time to start your search for your manufacturer. Depending on your vision, you have to decide whether you want to move forward with private label or custom formulation, or maybe a mix of both. If you want to go the route where you maybe have a little bit of private label and you're also going to custom formulate some very specific products, I would recommend making sure that your manufacturer has the capabilities to do both. Also keep in mind the conversation we had earlier about MOQs. Make sure that your manufacturer can accommodate the MOQs that you want, especially if you're just starting out. You might not be able to go to a super large manufacturer because they're not going to take an order for less than 10,000 units, for example. We also talked about your budget. Make sure that you have all these numbers in your head. That way when you're interviewing different CMs, you know exactly what you're looking for and you can quickly feel out if that CM is a fit or not for you. Make sure that you have your list of questions ready to go and that you are prepared when you're going into your interview with your CM or your consultation. Do all of your research beforehand. Make sure you have your list put together so you come off organized. Make sure you check out their website. Make sure you check out their social media platforms if you have any. Make sure that they're located in a place that is good for you. You have to consider shipping. You have to consider if you want your products made in the USA. If you do want your products made in the USA, verify that they're actually manufactured in the USA and not just filled in the USA or fulfilled in the USA. Make sure they are physically manufacturing the products here in America if that's something important to you. Same if it's very important for you to have your products manufactured maybe in Italy or somewhere in Europe. Make sure that you have all of these questions ready to go and verify any of the information that is given to you. If this is your first time in the beauty industry or your first time owning a business and your first time going through a lot of these steps, I would recommend finding a turnkey manufacturer. A turnkey manufacturer is someone who will help you through every single step of the process, from ideation to formulation to production, fill, packaging, artwork, logos, design. You might need a lot of hands-on help from your manufacturer, especially if you're brand new to the industry and you don't have a team and if you're just a one-woman show. So make sure that you ask these questions, and if you do need the extra help, make sure your manufacturer is turnkey. I also already have a video on our page that is about private label versus custom formulation, so be sure to check that out. I'll have it linked below if you are unsure about what path you want to go and if you need some help figuring it out. So after you decide what manufacturer you want to proceed with, they should really be guiding you through a lot of the steps, especially if they're a turnkey manufacturer. And if you want more information on all the steps after you select a manufacturer, go back to the first video that I posted on our page. I'll also link it below, and that'll walk you through each of the steps once you are working with a contract manufacturer. So now you're at the point where you have a manufacturer, you have a budget, you are rocking and rolling, and you are proceeding. Now there is a lot of things to do while you're waiting for your products to be produced and fulfilled. Now is when I would start to think about marketing. I would make sure that you get a website. I would make sure that you get a Shopify page or something like that. This is also when you're going to start making sure that your Instagram handles are secured if this is not done so already. And you're going to want to start teasing your launch and teasing the products that you are releasing and start getting a feel for what's going on in the market and making sure that you will be able to have all your distribution channels lined up, and that's going to be some fanfare around your product by the time you're ready to launch. While this was a brief overview, I hope that this was helpful in just learning some of the key terms in this industry. I know that it is a lot and that it could be confusing, but I am very open to helping, whether you just have any questions that you want to leave in the comments below, or whether you want to schedule a consultation with my company. We love helping indie brands get their start. We love helping people get started. If you need an American turnkey beauty manufacturer to help you get started, you are already in the right place. Check out the links in our bio below to book a consultation call to get started, and we cannot wait to help you start building the beauty brand of your dreams.